Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Cutter One. I am your host, Jay, just Jay, your resident troublemaker and your resident culture warrior and speaker of English as a second language. All right, so let's get right into it. It's late in the evening on this Monday, the 21st of November, 2022, and we are in the beginning of the Thanksgiving week for those of you who may be here in the States. So it is a short work week for those of us who have the proverbial day job. So looking forward to the short week and then the holiday coming up on this Thursday and Friday. Anyway, this story came across the wire just a little bit ago, and I wanted to talk about it, even though it's not usually a subject that I normally would talk about. Only because it's not something that I normally consider myself to be very knowledgeable in, but it sort of highlights an issue that has been a recurring theme here on this channel and other channels as well. So this is coming to us from the good folks at boundingintocomics.com, and it says, Marvel Studios producer considers it a, quote, red flag if prospective writers are fans of the original comics. Prefers to hire someone, quote, who's out of the culture, unquote. So, I mean, right there, that says a lot. Okay, so here's the article. It says, as if it wasn't obvious enough from simply watching any of the studio's post-Infinity War output, producer Nate Moore has revealed that he believes the key to Marvel Studios' success is hiring writers who are, quote, out of the comic book culture over anyone who loves the source material. Moore, whose career has seen him serve as a producer for such Marvel Cinematic Universe entries as Captain America Civil War, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and most recently Black Panther Wakanda Forever, shared his insight into Marvel Studios' hiring philosophy during an appearance on the November 16th episode of The Ringer's The Town podcast. Speaking with the host, Matthew Bellani, about his general experience working for the Disney subsidiary, timestamp 17 minutes, Moore was eventually asked if there was some kind of Marvel boot camp or something that you do with these filmmakers to ingratiate them into this world and knowing all the things that they need to know, to which the producer confirmed, not really. All right. Noting that some Marvel writers grew up reading and collecting comics, such as Avengers Endgame co-director Joe Russo and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, Moore told Bellani, quote, one thing I think is interesting, and specifically for writers, I would say, is that a lot of times we're pitched writers who love Marvel, and to me, that's always a red flag. I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is because you grew up with the comics and that's what you want to recreate, he explained. I want someone who's going to be hard on the material, who can go, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it in this way. Offering up an example of what he was looking for in prospective writers, Moore then pointed to Captain America trilogy writers Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who weren't comic guys coming up, but were like, wait, Captain America, this seems a bit weird. What if we kind of looked at it in this way? Okay. I think that's important to be able to go, look, the source material is great and I love it, and comics work great in the medium they were built in, but that's not a direct one-to-one translation to the best version of the movie, he asserted. And sometimes it takes someone who's out of the culture to go, hey, I know you think it should be this, but maybe it should be this other thing. Turning to provide further support for his argument, Moore then put forth Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder director as a great example of that too, because he was like, hey, I know Thor traditionally is a bit stiff, a bit Shakespearean, but what if you tweaked it? What if you tweaked the tone completely? The tone of Ragnarok is all Taika because he wasn't married to Thor on the page, concluded the producer, believing himself to be complimenting the director rather than hitting the nail on the head as to why many fans have been turned off by Waititi's take on the God of Thunder. I haven't read every Thor book. I have read a lot. I couldn't tell you of a run that is tonally anything like Ragnarok. Marvel Studios' latest film Black Panther is now playing in theaters. So, I mean, There you go. I mean, that's where Hollywood's at right now. Again, I'm not a comic guy. So I'm reluctant to speak to comic book stuff, but I think that this is sort of encapsulates a larger thing that's going beyond just the comic book and Marvel movies and DC movies per se. I think it's a sort of a paradigm shift that you're seeing in Hollywood with a lot of these producers and executive producers looking for writers that are not familiar with the original material, not fans of the original material. And so that's why you're getting a lot of these, what's the word I should use here? I'm trying to be careful with my words. You get a lot of these adaptations that are tonally and materially different than the original properties that they're based on. And then you sort of create this division within any given IP's fandom between those who were hoping that the film adaptations would adhere to the original storylines and characters and so on and so forth, and those who are seeking to modernize it or change it to fit today's ideals and stuff, and are using just like the basic concept as a stepping stone. And I think this article points out that in some cases, these are actually the people that are being preferred. That it's not, hey, you're familiar with Tolkien's work. You've been a real big fan of Tolkien. We want you to bring you into this production of an adaptation of Tolkien's work. They're actually looking for the exact opposite. They're saying, hey, we want you to not be a fan of this stuff. We want you to look at it as an outsider, so we can, in my opinion, they can just make a buck. Have it appeal to the mass audience as opposed to the fans of a franchise, and just sort of squeeze every dollar they can out of it. But that's just my opinion. But there you go. I mean, there's an article where a producer actually says that, if somebody comes to him and says, hey, I'm a fan of this, I hear you making a movie about it, and I'm a fan of it, to him, it's a red flag. He would rather have somebody who's not familiar with the material, not beholden to the original franchise. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think this is a problem that Hollywood is having right now, or do you think this is why we're seeing so many of these adaptations and remakes or reboots, etc., that are both tonally and substantively different from the original IPs that they were based on? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Remember, if you like the video, like the video. If you feel like sharing the video, feel free to do so. If you have not subscribed already, I please ask you if you would kindly consider giving your subscription to the channel. We are trying to build this thing up. We are still new to all this, but we are getting better with each and every day, at least I hope. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you. You are awesome. You are all beautiful badasses, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, peace.